How are you guys doing? Jambo. Good Monday morning. And welcome to another series. This is the first series of 2023, the test automation series. Whatever is repeated can be automated. I can't count the number of times when I have written the code and expected it to work well. And once the code goes through testing, I realized that, wow, I hadn't done what I did. The expected result isn't what people got because of the realities of our data, the reality of the test scenarios. Because you'll write code expecting it to do 1, 2, 3, 4, but there's always something that you haven't considered. There's always something that might need a second eye. That's why we have these manual testers that go through the application step by step, looking at what is expected of the function. In as much as Business Central has had automated testing from Nav09, we haven't been utilizing them as much, especially with the old Navision versions, probably because of the format of the FOBs and all that. But again, now they have over 44,000 tests in Business Central. You can imagine that it has covered almost all areas of the application. And for you to do an app source submission, you need to have test cases written for your custom application before it's accepted by Microsoft. So why is testing so important? It's repetitive because let's talk of manual testing, which is something common that we all have been used to. So if I write my code, I'll subject it to testing. Maybe it's a function that I've added. Maybe it's affecting a customer, a posting that will involve a customer. So I'll take that particular customer, test the function, and if it doesn't work well, I will correct the part that didn't work well and do the same again. I will go and take that particular customer and repeat the same process of testing to check if it now works. So that's the repetition that we are speaking about, because it's iterative. We are repeating. That's why the test automation is becoming so popular and very popular in our coding. It adds a little bit of work because you have to do it twice, meaning that 1 hour will be spent in code and another hour or 1.5 hours in writing the tests. So if you look at that, you'd imagine that, yeah, it adds work, but it's in the long run, test automation becomes very key. It becomes very helpful because once you keep customizing, the customizing will be faster because you'll be able to verify if the app works as expected.
Hii ni Tech na Msangi ya jishinde.com.
Okay, so this is today I will use the test automation using Docker, the container, but I'll share this link for those who would like to do the on-prem and be able to test on-prem. Here is the link, but I'll put it there. I'll share it. So if you already have a container and while installing it, you didn't import the test toolkit to BC container, then you can use this command and specify the container name in your PowerShell script. And once you import, all these 5 libraries will be installed and published into your container. Okay, that will be part of it. So in this series, we'll look at the test runner, test pages, handling UI, running tests in PowerShell. A recap for those who would like to create a new BC container. And okay, step by step. You need to import in your PowerShell integrated script editor. Search for PowerShell ISE. That's the PowerShell integrated script editor. What you need to do is you'll need to import BC container helper, first of all, you need to set the execution policy to be remote signed. And once you set, let me just write the code for you here. First step, execution policy to be remote signed, should be remote signed, so that you can allow scripts to be run. And then later on, you need to import, I think it should be BC container helper. Let me use BC container. Yeah, BC container helper. Then you use the force here. So when you run this, you'll be able to import your BC container helper. Once you have done that, go and run this new BC container helper. This is just a recap for those who have not been able to create a Docker container in Business Central. So the new BC container wizard, let me just search for wizard. So here under my commands, I can be able to filter with the modules that I have imported. Assume, okay, importing a module is like adding a functionality in PowerShell. So by default, your Windows PowerShell does not come with BC container helper. The BC container helper helps you create Business Central containers in Docker and Business Central container in Docker and assign containers to users. Okay, not assign container to user, Business Central container user, anything about Business Central containers. That's the module, how it will help you, because it has so many commands here. Okay, so you'll run the BC container helper wizard. Remember, I've just remembered that you should have installed Docker. Okay, I'm just doing a recap, so this is not the full video. There's a video on installing and running Docker that you can be able to look at for the detailed video on how to install Docker. And you need to switch Docker to Windows containers. This is not part of the scope of this video, so I'll just leave it from there. When you run this, there's a prompt for including test scripts. That is what I was interested in. So you'll accept end user agreement and then choose yes. We have a local Docker, maybe username and password to be that way, and then so the container name, and then maybe the latest Business Central on-prem. Did I select the sandbox? Something got lost here in my script. Or did I exit? Anyway, but ideally, when you follow the steps in the new BC container, there's no internet connection. Okay, sorry. I think I just disconnected my Wi-Fi before I started the video. So when you have internet connection, it will be able to proceed with this new BC container helper. And you'll be able to include, there's a part where you should include tests, and it's supposed to be include tests. I forgot that specific command, but here it is. It should be include the test toolkit. So this is the command that you should include. The test toolkit will include the test libraries and the test framework. So once you include that, you'll be able now to, it will automatically install your container in Business Central. Like you'll have tests automatically installed in your Business Central. So if you have a challenge with Docker, please, you can just send a chat and maybe we can have a one-on-one and be able to look at that. I believe I've had some complaints of people complaining that they're getting a few challenges here and there using Docker. So I'll try and do more detailed videos on installing containers using Docker. Yeah. And as at now, the isolation for Windows should be Hyper-V. The process isolation has been having some few challenges here and there. So make sure you use the Hyper-V isolation. So if I have internet, I could be able to do this. Okay, now, today we would like to at least write one test. So here is my Visual Studio Code. How do you go about writing tests? Rule of thumb. the applications that we have installed in the test libraries, those 5 applications, we need to add them as dependencies in our main application. But before that, let me do this. Let me create a new AL project. So how do you go about creating tests? Remember, you have your application, the application that you are running, and then you have now the test app. Remember, the test application is not supposed to be run on the cloud, or on the production. You can only, you should only install the test in the test environment, but in the production environment, you should install the application. So you run your tests and you confirm that your app is okay. So once the tests are done, you only install the application in the production, not the test environment. So for you to test, it's always advisable, separate the 2 applications. Separate the test application and the main application. So you can be able to create a workspace with Control-Shift-P when you create your project. I will use the default on-prem for now, and local server. Okay, I don't need that authentication, but here there's an option to save your workspace as and our test. We can call it our workspace to be our test. Once we do that, we can do another Control-Shift-P, AL go, and now this is our test project. Let's say AL project, that one was 3, and then we say test. Remember to always append the test in the test project to just have that differentiator. And here we can, we can just say it's a local, and then we can add the folder to workspace. Where is that workspace of ours? It should be this folder, and then add to workspace. No, it should add our folder to workspace. So when you add the folder to the workspace, I believe the workspace should be here. Did I name it AL project 3? Let me add it there to this workspace. Yes, so we have this AL project 3 test in this AL project 3 workspace. So while using workspaces, you can be able to group your code in a way that it's easy to manage. It's easy to be able to test this application as is, because I will write my tests in this code and my test here and my other code here. So everything is matching. So that's about arrangement, all about it. So I'll go back to my code, my usual normal code here. So now here, once you've done that, remember in your code you have applications. This is your application. There is no dependency in your code. So it's like duplicating the same launch.json file. Not really launch, but it should be the app.json. Let me go to the test first. So you see this, my workspace contains my normal code and the test code. So in your app.json, add these dependencies. So the first dependency will be to the application, to the main code, because this is the code that we are testing. So we need to have a dependency so that it can point to this particular code. And the dependency will enable us, when we download symbol for these applications, we will get the particular symbols for, okay, let me add some light here, I believe. Okay, so when we download symbols for this application, we will get the symbols for this, the main application here. So if I go to AL packages, you can see the code that we have been writing. All the symbols are here downloaded. So we have all the symbols for our app that we have customized, plus the symbols for the test libraries. Here they are, test libraries, and the symbols for the test environment. I think I had added a lot of dependencies here. That's why we are having 21, 20, and all those versions, the version number, different version numbers. So it's good to separate them, because the only package that you need to publish to your production is the one that you're using. So in your test environment, that's when you are now having a dependency to this application in production and adding your tests there. So the tests use test code units have a subtype of test. For the dependency, I've only added 2 dependencies here for the test code unit, but I will share this file. Guys have been requesting me to put code in GitHub, but I'll do that. Don't worry. So I've added only the library assert and the test libraries. Okay, but I'll share this, so don't worry. So the subtype of this code unit will be test. The pattern of acceptance test-driven development is given when then. So if I use the t-test case Waldo by Waldo, click on the tab. So automatically there is this annotation. It specifies that the method is a test. Remember, a test method is just a test method. There is nothing that is committed to the database unless you want it committed to the database using the different what is it called, automation models or something. Yeah, it should be that. So given, so what do we want to do today? Let's look at this code unit here. In this code unit, I have specified a customer, and I've said this. So if the customer has posted entries, then we will get a result to show that this is like the process. I'm assuming that this is the posting. This is what is happening in this particular code unit. It's just specifying that it's trying to look for a condition of if the customer does have posted entries, because you may be having customers created online that don't have entries that have been posted. So these are just maybe blank customers with no transactions. Nothing has ever been posted. So we are using the customer ledger entry, setting a range, and it is true if this ledger entry is not empty. So so if it's empty, the customer has no posted entries. Sorry. If it's empty, the customer has no posted entry. But if it's not empty, then the customer has posted entries. So this is a true, a positive test. So if they have posted entries, the return value will be true. So let's go here to our t-test code unit. Let me just enter it because I need the IntelliSense. I should have done something there with control space, but let me just do it again. Given a customer, when when posted entries are checked, a customer without posted entries then validate the customer. So simple as that. So given the customer, I think I'd written this customer somewhere here. This customer has no posted entries, so we will add a record here. Okay, the procedure. We'll add a record of type customer. Okay, a short variable, a short form of the customer. Then get this customer. So we have gone to this part of the given. So does the customer has posted entries? So we will add a boolean has posted entries, which will be a boolean to specify if the customer has posted entries. So the code unit that we are using will be the code unit that is found in our, basically in our other main application where we have done the test. So we'll look at the test automation if the customer has posted entries and it is taking the record of the customer. So it will return to us, does this customer has posted entries? So we want to verify if the customer is blocked. Okay, I think validate the customer. Can change it to verify if the customer, if blocked. Okay. The longer, the better. The more descriptive, the better for the tests. Verify if blocked. So if you do not have posted entries, you should be blocked ideally. So customer is blocked. Customer is blocked will be a boolean. Again, here we come and say, so the customer is blocked will be given by if the customer dot blocked is not equal to customer dot blocked this blank. So if it's not the blocked blank, then the customer is really blocked. So once you have done that, the next thing is now to assert. That's when we need now the code unit or the library assert to, it has different functions for just asserting, to compare, to verify if our tests are working. Now this is now the testing. The library attest is the testing, libassert, but I can use assert. It has several functions, but here what we need to assert, we can use, you see, we can have equal date time, nearly equal, not nearly equal, no filter, record not found, record already exists. Yeah, this is another good one. Record already exists. Maybe you are testing for a certain record. And here what we can test for this case is are equal. So what is supposed to be equal? So if you have posted entries, like if the customer has posted entries, then the blocked should be the customer should not be blocked. Not customer is blocked. So that's how we should assert. And the message here will be, let me just put a string, substring no, to specify that if these conditions are not met, here is our message. We will say that the customer, this one should be blocked. If this is not working, like okay, what if it's the opposite? The customer doesn't have entries, they have entries and they are blocked. Okay, let me say this. The blocked status of customer, that is wrong. The blocked status of customer, this customer is actually wrong. Okay, I've just been notified that I should end the video. Okay, it's almost getting out of time. And the customer dot number. So the only thing that is remaining here is to test. And how do we test? Let me build, run, and let me run without debugging. For some reason, I don't want to see the errors pop on this other side. So here it is. Okay. How do you run? You open your AL code and search for the test tool and use the AL test tool. This is the old cal test tool and it will be phased out. So the AL test tool, and here is the code units. Let me just clear first. Let me delete lines. So we need to get the test code units because we need to test one code unit. We don't want to run all the tests that exist in Microsoft's code. So we'll run that and test series, I think should be that. So this is our code unit for the test series. And the function has already been displayed. A customer with posted entries, given a customer with posted entries, a customer without posted entries, verify if blocked. So if the customer doesn't have posted entries, like there is no any customer ledger entry posted under the customer, they should be blocked. And we will run the test. Let me run selected tests. So, okay, they are equal failed because the block status of this customer is wrong. So let me take this customer and change the blocked status and come and run back the tests. Okay, so customers. So this customer should be blocked, ideally. That's what we're speaking about. Spot mayors, you are not blocked. Why? Why you should be blocked? Where is the blocked status? Here it is. Blocked with all. The image even blinked. And then now we will run the tests. So it has run successfully because the customer is blocked. You can see, like, if you have such tests, how I didn't have to. Okay, I'm just imagining if it was the manual way, and I have changed the code or something. It will really take a long process before I can know where the problem is. But now I've easily known that, okay, this customer is blocked, should be blocked because there is no entry. Imagine the user having to get that particular error and they call you or they now inform you that the setup is not right, something is wrong. That's another support request because maybe some tests are not automated. Okay, I believe in this series we will go step by step. In the next video, we will look at the on-prem version. When you download the Business Central on-prem, how are you able to get started with tests for those people who don't want to use the Docker container? How can you be able to do that? Because I understand there are people who would just like to do their tests on their local machine, just on their machines, and be able to see how it works. Remember, in less than a second, we have been able to do tests. So stay tuned in this episode. We will do more and more. I will see you in the next video.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so that you don't miss the next one.